Hello, welcome to CS50. I'm Qingyan, and in this video, I'm going to show you my final project, which is called Flickr Browser. In this project, you can search for any term to find related photos from Flickr. This project is built using Flask. To start off, I'll run flask run. By running this command, I will start the web server on the back end and use the link to open the front end in a browser. When I open this link, it will bring me to the landing page of this app. Let's navigate to our search screen through the Browse Flickr Images button. Now I'm going to search dog in the search box. I will click the search button, which gives me a list of dog photos. When I click on a photo, it's full screened in another tab. Of course, you can always search for any other terms. To go back to the landing page, you click the Home button. Now let's look at the implementation details for the project. So in application.py, we have the code to set up the web server. This server is built on top of Flask. Flask is a web server framework which is easy to use with the Python language. In addition, this project also uses some other libraries, such as the JSON library to parse the JSON data, and requests library to make HTTP requests. We use the imports to include those libraries. After the import statements, we'll define some constants. At line 6, we have the URL of Flickr's API. That's the base URL we request and get the photos from. But Flickr won't just take any request. You need to have an API key to get access. I already registered an API key on flickr.com, and I'll just use that API key here on line 7. Then you need to tell Flickr what you want to do. In this project, I want Flickr to make a search. So here I define a variable for the search method in line 8. After we get the response from Flickr, then how do we display the photos? In line 9, we have the host name where Flickr stores their photos. We'll use this soon to generate the full URL for each photo. I'll explain that soon. So now it's time to initialize Flask. In line 12, we do this by creating an app variable, and it will be an instance of Flask. Through this variable, we will use some of Flask's functions, such as root, config, etc. Using Flask, we can define each page as a root. For example, we'll have a landing page and a search page. Let's start from the root. At line 15, it supports both HTTP GET and POST. GET is to receive data from the Flask server, and POST is to send data or commands to this Flask server. This is how the back end communicates with the front end in the browser. The root page simply redirects me to the landing page. So then let's talk about the landing page. The landing page will receive a click event when the user clicks the button. In this case, there's only one button, so we don't need extra information on which button is clicked. We'll go to the search page. Otherwise, we'll just display landing.html. So what does landing.html look like? Let's check it out. So in landing.html, we don't have a lot of things to display on the screen. We have a few icons, some text, and a Browse Flickr Images button. In the Styles tag, we can customize the look of our button. There's also an @import for the font we use. So let's move back to application.py to explore some more code. Let's continue exploring our roots. The next root is /search. This is the page we will display a list of photos using the search function. To hold the search results, we first create an empty list called photos links. Let's check out search.html for the UI. So search.html contains three UI components: the search box for the user to type any search term, the search button to send the search command with the search term to the Flask server, and the landing button to go back to the landing page. Then the rest of the page is where all the photos from search results will be displayed, and each photo will have a hyperlink to bring up another browser tab to display that photo. We'll talk about how the search results are passed to this page soon. So how does the search actually work? Let's go back to application.py to find out. In application.py, inside the search function, once the user clicks the search button, which is detected at line 31, it will build a request URL by combining the following 5 items: the Flickr API URL, the search method, the API key, the search term, and the response format. Then I'll make this request to the Flickr server. Once it gets the response, we will parse the JSON from the response. That's line 48. Then we can retrieve the photo list from that parsed JSON object in line 51. Please note that the photos list doesn't contain the full URL for each photo. It only has the photo ID and a photo secret. It's our job to rebuild the full URL from that information. Next, at line 54, we loop through all the photos in the list, and we build the full URL for each photo by using its ID and secret. All the full URLs will be stored in the variable photos links. At line 65, the photos links will be passed to the search page to display. If the user clicks the landing button as defined in line 61, then it'll just go to the landing page. If the search term is empty, then it'll go back to the empty search page. This is at line 35. So that's how this project works. I hope you enjoyed. I'm Qingyan, and this is CS50.